And our breath has some breaths being longer than others, some being shorter. Rhythm. And our breath has some breaths being longer than others, some being shorter. We'll place our hands now at our sides, or you can place still on the tension area and the other on being longer than others, some being shorter. Top of the one at the tension area and one. Place our hands now at our sides, or you can place still on the tension area and the other on being longer than others. Bringing our attention now to the top of the head. Any tension you might be feeling in that area, allow it to be released. Imagine that the floor that's supporting your head is absorbing it, dissipating down to the earth below. Bringing all of our attention and awareness to the top of the head, allowing that tension to dissipate. And now to the forehead. Relaxing the muscles of the forehead, releasing tension, letting it go, leaving the day behind, bringing ourselves into the present moment. We'll bring our awareness now to the muscles of the face, allowing them to completely relax as we bring in all our attention and awareness to that part of our body, allowing that tension to be released down to the earth, allow it to dissipate. We relax the muscles of the face. Now to our jaws, the jaw muscle. The bone itself, the hinged area of the jaw muscle, allowing it to relax. Any tension you're feeling there, simply be released down to the earth below. Now to our neck, the top of the spine where it meets the base of the cranium. Bringing our attention to the vertebrae of the neck, the very uppermost part of the back. Bringing our deep attention and awareness, and allowing any tension to be released. Let them be absorbed by the earth below. Now we'll focus on the shoulder blades. They are in contact with the floor. Bringing our deep attention and awareness to each shoulder blade, to the bones, muscles, connective tissues, allowing our shoulder blades to relax. Now bringing our awareness to the upper arm, bicep and tricep muscle, down to the bone marrow, the upper arm. Allowing our upper arms to relax, any tension you might be feeling, allow that to simply be released down to the earth, to be absorbed. We relax our upper arms. Now we'll focus on the lower arm, the forearm, all the muscles there, the two bones, releasing tension, allowing that area to relax. Bring our attention now to the palms of our hands. Allowing them to relax, any tension you're feeling, dissipate to be absorbed by the earth. And to our fingers, allowing our fingers to relax, our fingers to curl naturally, releasing tension by bringing our attention and awareness to each digit, to the index finger, middle finger, releasing tension as we go, the ring finger, our little finger, and our thumb. Now bringing our focus to the torso, the hip bones, pelvis, the ball and socket joint, the connective tissue, the muscles. Bring our deep attention and awareness to the hip bones, pelvis, allowing it to relax, releasing tension down to the earth below. Now to our thighs, upper leg, the femur, the muscles surrounding, connective tissue, the skin itself, allowing the upper part of our leg to relax, to release tension down to the earth. We'll focus now on our knees, the kneecap in front, the tendons, the connective tissue behind, allowing our knees to relax. bringing our full attention and awareness to just that part of our body. The lower leg, the calf muscles, the shin bone. Focusing all our attention and awareness there, releasing tension, allowing it to relax. Now to our ankle. Bringing all of our attention, awareness, and concentration to the ankle. Allowing the tension to be released. And our ankle to be completely relaxed. We'll focus now on our toes, much as we did with the digits of our hands. We'll focus all of your attention and awareness now to the big toe. Gradually moving outward to each individual toe, allowing each one to relax. Any tension you're feeling in the toes simply be absorbed by the earth below. Now we'll focus on the bottom of our feet, the soles of our feet. Releasing tension, allowing the bottom of the feet to relax. When you're ready, you can bend at the knees while still lying on your back and slowly roll over into the fetal position. And then slowly into seated position, and we'll do some stretching. So what we'll do first, and hopefully I'll sit more invisible, so we're going to be in a cross-legged position. We will use our left arm to support the back. Our right hand is grasping the right foot, and we'll make circles, large circles. First going in a clockwise direction. Do about 3 of these. And then counterclockwise. And if you missed the stretching last week, just to simply be aware of our bodies, and if anything that could cause any sort of injury, to watch out for that. We don't want you to push yourself too hard or to do anything you think could cause injury. Once we've made large circles, first going clockwise and then counterclockwise, we'll cradle the lower leg and gently rocking back and forth. Get a good stretch in the leg.
keep supporting the right leg with our right arm and gently rotate the ankle. First going clockwise and then counterclockwise. And we'll flex the ankle gently upwards and then downwards. And do that about 3 times, upwards, downwards. One more time. So we'll place this leg down. We'll be using our right arm to support our back, and then we'll grasp our left foot with our left hand, starting to make counterclockwise circles, and supporting our back with our right arm, making as large a circle as we can, going counterclockwise, about 3 times, and then clockwise. We'll cradle that leg in both arms, like the baby, gently rocking, swiveling our hips side to side. Cradling the leg just with the left arm and using our right hand, we'll slowly rotate the ankle going counterclockwise. And then clockwise. About 3 times in each direction. And we will flex the ankle upwards, toes pointing towards the knee, and then down. Do that about 3 times. And then we can put the leg down. I don't remember if we did this last week, but we want to have our soles of our feet touching, and we'll put our hands and just kind of try and touch our knees to the floor if you can, making sure the back is nice and straight. Bring our legs back up again. We'll stretch our left leg out. Right leg is tucked in. And we'll stretch out, reaching out towards the left foot as far as you can. You want to be centered over your left knee, reaching as far as you can, and we'll hold that there just for a few seconds. Come back up to the center, and now we'll lean out over the right leg, keeping the left leg where it is, but also making sure that the left buttock is in contact with the ground as we do this to get a good stretch. So we'll move out over the right side. And being sure that we're trying to keep that left buttock in contact with the ground, the floor. We'll hold it a few more seconds. Coming back up to the center. We will switch legs. Right leg is out while the left is in. Reaching out over the right leg. Remaining centered over that knee. And we'll hold it a few seconds. Come back up to the center. We'll stretch out over the left side, again, keeping the right buttock in contact with the floor as we do that to get a good stretch. We'll hold it for a few more seconds. Come back up to the center. So now we'll stretch our legs out in front of us. I'll move sideways. So they're straight. First, exhale and stretch our arms towards the toes as far as you can. Inhale. Coming up, arms are up. Exhale, coming down. Again, reaching for the, in my case, ankles, but if you can touch your toes, great. Inhale, coming up. Arms are stretched out towards the ceiling. Exhale, coming down. One more time, we inhale, coming up. And exhale, coming down. Back up to a seated position. And now we'll lie on our stomachs in the prone position. So my sequence was a little off last week, so we'll be doing the cobra. So our hands are going to be roughly even, just roughly even with the armpits and the palms flat on the ground. So we want, as we're doing this, we're stretching the back. Maka, you're in the way, honey. Gotta move my kitty. Stretching the back so everything below the waist is towards the wall that's opposite our feet. Everything above is stretching towards the wall that's opposite our head. So we'll do that. And then we'll come up, stretching upwards the back to do the cobra. Hold that. And then coming back down again. And again, trying to make our body as long as possible. Stretching everything below the back towards the wall that's opposite our feet and above the waist towards the wall that's opposite our head. Again, stretch into the cobra. Can't see it in the camera, but I'm flexing my neck back as much as I can. We'll come back down. Do that one more time. So making our body as long as possible. And then stretch up into the cobra. Back down again. So we'll now move on to our hands and knees. Our back is parallel to the floor. Our palms are flat on the floor. Arms are straight. So we will do the cow and the cat. So the first, arching our back downwards, we inhale, stretching the neck upwards. And then we exhale, arching our back like the cat, trying to get the navel to touch the spine. And again, we'll, back is concave, arch downwards, neck is stretching upwards. We're inhaling, stretch, arching the back as we exhale. So inhale, arch downward for the cow. And exhale. We'll move our back to being again parallel to the floor. Palms are flat on the floor. Keeping our hands in contact with the ground as much as we can, we'll slowly walk our legs up, but stay bent over. We want the legs to be straight. So I can't quite keep my palms on the ground to do that. So straightening the legs, now it's my fingertips. And we're bent over, so the neck and the head are just dangling. Totally relaxed. You can let your arms dangle or grip your elbows. And then very slowly, one vertebrae at a time, we'll move into a standing position. And then walk over to your mat and cushions. We'll stand with the heels. If you have a mat, just touching it. You'll be able to see me, but we're bringing our hands together, palm to palm, and Hapchang of sincere heart as we stand. We'll make a bow. And we will sit and begin meditation. So the right hand is cradling the left with our thumbs touching in the Tanshan area, doing our mudra. Your head is balanced naturally on the top of the spine. Your eyes are softly focused a few feet in front of you. The tip of the tongue is touching the back of the top teeth. You'll be counting your outgoing breath from 5 to 0.
Okay, so get up and fix our mats and cushions is what we would do if we were at a temple. Share mat and cushion, and there's all sorts of messages on my screen, so I'm going to just sort of see what's going on here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think we're okay. All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
We have various cats joining us this evening. It's good to see everybody again. A cold spring day. The leaves are appearing on the trees. And yesterday during our walk, we looked up and I saw 2 woodpeckers. And my husband said, I've never seen woodpeckers before. And then we said, well, we've never really went for walks before or looked up before. So even though I think all of this that we're living through right now is not getting any easier. I don't know about you, but I kind of wake up in the morning and just feel like, wow, we're still, it's not ending. And so, yeah, we're really in for the long haul, and it really requires us to really come to terms with a lot of the stuff that we carry around in really new ways, and it can be really difficult. So hopefully you've been able to meditate. At the end of the class today, we'll talk a little bit about what you were able to do at home. We'll talk about gratitude practice as well. But yeah, so right now we're actually, we're going to learn to chant together. And so chanting practice is really wonderful, powerful practice. Remember our 5 fingers of Zen? We had meditation, chanting, prostrations, manual labor, which hopefully you're still doing that, and direct experience. And the thing with chanting is all of these fingers of Zen, as we like to say, they're all different roads to the same destination, right? So again, we can think about our practice and all of these, even these 5 fingers is almost like the 5 blades on a Swiss Army knife. So sometimes you're going to need, sitting quietly is just what you needed. Sometimes you need to wake up a little bit more. You need to get some of that energy out, and chanting can be really, really good practice for that. And sometimes it's really kind of desperate situations can really, prostrations are called for. We'll learn more about those at our next class. But the chanting, so our teacher in Ann Arbor loves to tell the story of back in the 80s, she went with our founding teacher back to Korea. And they went around visiting all of the temples and all of the great teachers in Korea with one of those old-fashioned tape recorders. They actually had to carry it around on their backs with the reels of tape and the microphone, and it weighed a ton. And they were going to these monasteries, and most of the monasteries in Korea are out in the forests and on mountains. They're really sort of tucked away because there's a period in Korea where Buddhism was chased out of the cities and into the mountains. And so they get to this temple, and when Haju, our teacher in Ann Arbor, tells the story, she really makes it last, but I'll give you the shorter version. And in part because I wasn't there, right? So I can't make it last the same way. But so they take a bus, and then they get out of the bus, and they walk up a hill, and they walk through rice paddies, and it's this really long walk to this temple that's really tucked away in the middle of nowhere. And Haji Sunim and the other person who was there with our founding teacher, their job was basically to kneel, to sit kneeling while our founding teacher interviewed these teachers in Korean and taped the interview. And of course, they didn't understand anything, but they were there and they knelt. And when she tells the story, she says the boards in the room where they were wooden and uneven. And she and the other American were kneeling and being patient for about an hour while the interview lasted. It was really painful. I don't know if you sit on your knees very often. I almost can't really do it anymore. I should be, as a Dharma teacher, I should be much better at it, and it can be really painful. So they were really trying to meditate and harmonize and endure not moving out of respect for this interview that was going on. And our founding teacher, while he was interviewing this other teacher, he would say, they would hear him say, "Oh my goodness," like, the Korean equivalent of like, "Wow." So they really want to know, right, what this teacher was telling our founding teacher. Like, "Oh my gosh, we can't wait." So after it was over, they went back to where they were sleeping. And the founding teacher looked at them and said, "I'll tell you, I know you really want to know what was going on." And they didn't want to ask because they were being humble and respectful. And he said, "So here's the story. So this monk that I was interviewing, that he went into a monastery for training when he was young, and he really wanted to be a meditation monk." So in Korean temples, there are meditation monks, there are study monks, monks devote themselves to sort of studying Buddhism. There's the vast majority of monks in the monasteries are work experience monks, right? They are in the kitchen and they're in the garden and they're doing all of that. The meditation is kind of not quite as central as it is to our practice of Zen here in the West. But he really wanted to be a meditation monk, and he was meditating. His teacher was just, like, you're just not getting it, right? It's not working. And would go for interviews. And like, yeah, it's just really, you're just kind of stuck. And so his teacher suggests that he goes to another monastery where they just chanted all of the time, right? It was chanting practice. And so this monk, he's disappointed because he really wanted to be a meditation monk. And he goes to this other monastery and he spends in Korea, you spend 3 months at a monastery, then there's 3 months off where you travel, and then 3 months. So he spends a couple practice periods at this chanting monastery, and then in one of the 3-month vacation periods where the monks travel around, he went to see his old teacher, and his old teacher meets him and thinks, "Wow, there's something really different about you." And he sits him down and he gives him a Zen interview, and he says, "You know what? You did it, right? You're enlightened through the chanting." And this monk goes on to found a temple. And so this temple that our teachers visited in the 80s in Korea was a chanting temple. And it was arranged so that there was always somebody chanting 24 hours a day, that the practice was just chanting. There wasn't much meditation, it was just chanting. And Haji likes to tell the story because it's really a testimony. We tend to think, oh, the only way you can meditate is on a mat and cushion or in silence or this and that. But chanting is a super powerful practice. And if you've been to our Sunday services, very often I notice we chant kind of in the middle, in between, we chant the 3 refuges in between the 2 sittings. And after we're done chanting, we stand up and we chant. When I sit back down, and I'm like, wow, I'm a lot more awake than I was for the first sitting. There's something about chanting that just really gets that energy that we talked about last week, really gets it going, really focuses your mind, and really brings you into the present moment. And I saw a study once that babies in the NICU, in the newborn ICU, who are born premature, apparently kind of are released faster from the hospital when their mothers sing lullabies to them while they're in the NICU. And I remember reading that and going, that's what we're doing when we're chanting, right? That vibration kind of really literally, I think, can heal us and can connect us to the people around us. So I think in these moments that we're living through right now, where everything is kind of cattywampus and everything, nothing's where it should be, and everything, our snow globes are shaking really hard, a chanting practice can really bring us, back to the present and really wake us up. It's really powerful practice. And I find myself chanting a lot more. I'm actually one of those people who's not very good at remembering to chant. When I was training, I did because it was part of my assignment, but it's something that I forget a lot. Through these last couple of weeks, I just find myself chanting. If I'm cleaning my bathroom, I'm chanting. If I'm doing a jigsaw puzzle, I start chanting. I go to the evening practice that's kind of live streamed, and we chant at the end. And so it's just a really wonderful way to really cut through, I think, a lot of our accumulated strong emotions or attachments. It can just be really super powerful. So I'm going to stop talking and we'll start chanting. So feel free to join me. So while we chant, we'll have our eyes closed. I'm realizing eyes closed could also be turning your camera off, could be the online equivalent of closing your eyes. Or you can leave it on, that's fine. I don't know, what do you think, Sushim? Should people have their mics on or off? It's tough to chant altogether just because people are at different speeds and it gets laggy. But the chant that we're doing is a really simple chant. And so, I'm kind of, what's your opinion on that, Susan? We haven't done it online before, so yeah.
I think if we had everyone's mic on, it would get really out of the coughing.
Exactly. So yeah, so maybe, so you can turn your mic off as well, but please chant along with us. And I realize by doing that, what's happening is, we're taking away one of the really wonderful things about chanting, which is hearing the people around you and kind of harmonizing with them and really having your voices be a nice collective. But I think with everybody's mics off, it's also the equivalent of, nobody can hear you chant, right? So you can just really go for it and experiment, and you can chant loudly or softly. Just chant along with me. And again, you can have your eyes closed. And this is also a really nice lesson that chanting works. You don't need to have a room full of people for chanting to quote unquote work, right? And like I said, I've been finding myself chanting a lot more in the last couple of weeks. So okay, so the chant that we'll be doing is a very, very simple chant. It's just one word, which is Ma'um. So repeat after me. I can't hear you, but repeat after me. Ma. And There we go. Thank you. And so the Ma is a gentle sound. And with the Ma sound, we calm and relax our minds. And the sound is a strong sound. And with the sound, we calm and relax our body. And Ma'um actually means mind. It can also mean body, mind. So once again, what we're doing is a little bit like Hapchang. We're taking a lot of our difficulty in life is we're like those cartoon animals where the head is over here, right? And the rear end takes a while to sort of catch up with the head. We're always sort of racing too far from ourselves. Our body and our mind are very rarely in the actual same place. So we're either eating and our mind is off over here, or we're thinking about yesterday, right? It's very rare for our body and mind to be somewhat in the same place. So when you do Hapchang with your hands, you can think of it as, body and mind and bringing it all together. And also this chant is that idea too, is bringing your body and bringing your mind and having them kind of be in the same place, even just for a second. So I'll be chanting. Once again, chant along with me. I'd like to say chant once you know the melody, but since this is Zen, just throw yourself in and figure it out. Don't worry too much about mastering it, because the essence of Zen is good luck with that. We're never going to master anything. But just really enjoy the sound. And again, you can keep your eyes closed. So start. Ma, 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 hum, 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 hum. Ma, ma, ma,
Ma,
ma, ma, ma, ma,
ma, ma, ma, ma,
Right. So, yeah, you could open your eyes and see if you feel any different, right? If you feel a little more awake, a little more aware. Like I said, that happens to me, and every time I'm kind of amazed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to show you some more postures, because we only got to do a couple of postures quickly. So I think Sushin Bob, if you'd like to take the lead, we'll go through 3 postures. We'll do a little bit of sitting, and then on the other leg, we'll do some Ma'un chanting. So I'm going to turn it over to Sushin Bob.
Okay. So we will be starting with a posture that's somewhat similar to, we did quarter lotus last week, if you remember. So this one is called Burmese. So we begin again by standing in front of our mat cushion. If you have a mat, your heels are touching the front edge of that mat, not stepping on the mat itself. Bring our hands together, palm to palm in Hakchang of sincere heart, and make a bow. So with the Burmese posture, we'll lower ourselves down, bringing our leg tucked under like we did with lotus, quarter lotus. But instead of it being tucked under and off to the side like this, we move it to the center. Hopefully you can see. So the one leg, the heel is actually right down the center of your body. The foot, your foot is actually straight like this. And the heel is down the center. You take the other leg and place that in front. Again, it's an asymmetrical pose. We'll try it on both sides. And this foot is also pointing. So there's a straight edge from the leg all the way to the top of the foot. And that one's in front of you. This is called the Burmese posture. It's actually one that I probably use the most often. It's nice, actually in warmer weather, for one thing. So it's a little bit cooler. So again, the heels are right. If you imagine a line going down the center of your body, your heels are right in line with that line. Feet are flat. We'll sit in meditation, but first we'll bear our weight forward to make sure that we have a nice base. So imagining a triangle with our buttocks on the cushions we're sitting on and our knees, and actually our legs themselves, all the other two parts of that triangle. Our head is resting naturally on the tip of the spine, top of the spine. Our eyes are softly focused a few feet in front of us. The tip of your tongue is touching the back of your top teeth. And our right hand is cradling the left with our thumbs touching. Place that in the Tanshan area, in the mudra. We'll sit for a few minutes, counting your outgoing breath from 5 to 0.
We'll stretch our legs out, give them a little bit of a stretch, shake them out. And then we're gonna just stay where we are and try to do it on the other side. So whatever foot was in front from the last time is going to be in front of this time. And this is part of direct experience, is noticing how different that feels. For me, it's a totally different experience, right? You're going to have one side where that's going to be a little easier than the other side. So, this is, just see how it feels. Because once again, we can talk about meditation postures all we want, and it's not until you actually do them that you say, wow, this side's less flexible, or this really feels good. I didn't think it would. So that's what this is about. So we're just going to spend a couple minutes here, and we will chant Mahum. So you can close your eyes, right? So your eyes are not open and softly focused. Your eyes are closed. You can have your hands in a mudra. If you have meditation beads, you can play with those. Nobody can see you. We can't see you to correct you. So. Mahum, Mahum, Mahum. 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 Mahum, Mahum, ma, 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 ma. Ma, 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 bow. We'll get up. If you're on a mat and cushion, you can push your cushion back into position. If you're on pillows, you can fluff them back up gently. Just arrange wherever you're sitting so that it's nice and put back together. And then we'll get up, standing in front of our sitting place, and put our hands together in Haptan and make a bow. And now I'm going to kick it back over to Susham, who will show us another posture.
This one is called Novice Monk. And it's so called because it's a little bit easier to get into. So we started the postures we're doing with the positions that were kind of hardest to do for most, and then they gradually become a bit easier. So this one is Novice Monk. So again, it's a somewhat cross-legged pose. So we'll lower ourselves, as we've been doing, down to our cushion. With this one, the leg stays underneath and tucked in and off to the side. So in my case, it's my left leg, which is a little bit to the right side. And then actually, this one always seems harder to do than it is. And I may move myself so you can see sort of sideways. I'm going to move it a little bit closer. So we take the other leg and we move it out behind us. So it's sort of a combination, almost kneeling and cross-legged pose. I'll move this way. So if you can see it from the side, I'm not sure. Camera angle, so my right leg is in front and tucked under. The left leg is in front, and the right leg comes back like this. So it's like you're kneeling with one leg and cross-legged with the other. I'll move back facing the camera here.
Yeah, and this posture could be really good. Guys really like this posture. So Tim, I'm not sure if this is really this might be the first one that kind of works for you. I find that people who can't get into those other postures without their knees being up in the air, this is a nice hybrid posture that allows people with less flexible hips to have their knees have a nice base. Yeah.
And as we've been going, the different postures, the quarter lotus, that one provided more back support. So as we continue on with these postures, a little bit less back support. So you have to be careful that you're providing that support of your back in other ways. So this one, it can tend to make you lean or slouch. So you want to be sure to have good back posture. Also, the two knees should be making a line. If you've made a line from one knee to the next, it would be parallel with the front edge of your mat. So it's easy sometimes to be kind of swiveled off to one side or the other with this one. So those are some of the things. So again, making sure that we want to set our sternum a little far ahead, a little out in front. And a good way to do that actually is if you stretch your arms up with the palms facing each other, and then our palms are facing outwards. We bring them down slowly past our ears. That gets our ears in line with our shoulders and sets the breastbone where you see so it's sticking out a bit. We bring our hands together in the mudra, thumbs are touching, and the right hand cradles the left. Our eyes are softly focused a few feet in front of us. Our head is balanced on the tip of the spine. The tip of our tongue is touching the back of our top teeth. And we'll sit for a few minutes and count our outgoing breath from 5 to 0.
hands in Hapchang, making bow. Release our legs, shake them out. Shake. And now we'll reverse the posture. So whatever leg was doing the cross-legged thing is now going to kneel, and the other leg will be cross-legged. And once again, you'll notice, you might be surprised. They say, wow, my body doesn't bend on that side, which is what I'm thinking right now. Or yeah, you can just notice the difference, right? Maybe you're more likely to just collapse over to the side on the side. So just again, trying to keep everything even, your shoulders even, your knees even, which again, you're going to have to make some effort to do that, because what you naturally want to do is just pop over to the side. So you can have your hands in the mudra, you can have your hands on your knees, just try that out. We'll close our eyes and we'll just chant for a little while here as you just let the feeling of being in this posture on this side sink in. So. Ma, 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 Put our hands in Hapchang and then again, what we'll do is stand up if you're on a mat and cushion and smooth out fluff your cushion back into place and smooth out your mat. Again, this being very much an aspect of work practice, just gently honoring the place where you sat, making it even nicer than when you got there the last time. Smoothing out your mat with both of your hands. Again, remembering that using both of our hands is a great way to do things mindfully. Standing up. Right. And we come to the front of our mat and we make a bow. All right, so we have one last posture, the easiest posture of them all, Sushim.
Yes, this one is called the posture of royal ease. So again, it is somewhat cross-legged. So we'll be lowering ourselves down to our cushion. And yet again, one of our legs is tucked underneath, a little bit off to the side with the foot. And this is actually the posture itself. So you want to have the other foot in front of you. If we were at the temple, you would be mindful to not place your bottom of your feet on the mat itself. Not able to do the mudra with this one, but instead placing one hand on top of the other on your knee. So this is called royal ease posture. This one can come in handy if we're doing a meditation retreat and maybe you've been sitting a certain way for a while. This is a great way to give your legs a break. Or maybe this is the chosen posture. It's completely legitimate to sit this way all the time, but it's royal ease posture. And again, you have to be careful not to let yourself slouch forward or off to either side. It doesn't provide quite the back support that many of the other postures um, would provide.
And I think we'll just chant here because, and then that way we can have the base touching afterwards. You can try it on the other side at home. And I'll just add, Sushan's presenting it really beautifully. And I'll add too that, so if any posture, if you're sitting, for example, for 20 minutes and a posture really becomes uncomfortable, and we talked about that before, about trying to kind of breathe into it and harmonize with it. But if you really need to change positions, in our tradition at least, it's perfectly fine to do that. So you just want to do it as smoothly and gently as possible so you don't disrupt the people around you. Just being mindful to everybody else around you. So this, again, this is a great relief posture. So let's say I was sitting in half or quarter lotus and I just really couldn't take it anymore. What I would do is put my hands in hap chang and just very gently go into this posture like this. So that's also a little bit of part of what the Royal Ease posture is. It's a great posture to just gently ease, you know, if you're really pinching a nerve or if you're really, really sore. So yeah, so we'll close our eyes and chant here. So ma 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 Put our hands in hap chang. And so this is a great posture to stay in, or just make yourself comfortable on your mat and cushion. And actually, I'm going to unmute everybody. So now you apparently have, that doesn't mean that I can hear you. It means that now you can unmute your yourselves, right? And then we can hear you if you'd so like to do. So yeah, so at this last portion, we'll just go around and say a few words, if you'd like, about how it's going, how your meditation's going, how your gratitude practice went, and any questions or anything else about the meditation practice that comes to mind. So we're just going to check in. So let's start with Tim.
Oh, geez. The gratitude practice is something I've done before, so it was easier for me. But it was fun, and I found that I could do it with. I didn't miss it ever.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. I'm struggling with the meditation. It's my mind's all over the place. It's not easy. sometimes I feel like I can do it in a rhythm, but it doesn't last long. I really love the chanting tonight, so hopefully that's part of our homework.
Yeah, absolutely.
And manual labor is going fabulous. I'm at my mother's house for a few months helping her with the garden, so it's just perfect.
Perfect.
I mean, my hands are in the dirt every day for hours now, so
Yeah.
it feels
Okay.
fabulous.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like it's going pretty well, except for the meditation part.
Yeah, it's a different style than what I had in my head. So I'm
Right.
just
Sure.
knocking down those expectations and trying to practice.
Yeah, and sometimes doing something a little bit differently can sort of shake stuff loose, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. So yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, and Haley, you have your mic off. I'm gonna assume if you'd like to check in, feel free, and you can unmute yourself. But if not, I'll just go next to Sanban. So, Sanban, if you wanna.
So I found it really helpful what we went over last week as far as meditating, like our life depended on it. Usually when I meditate, I tend to get into a real, kind of like a drowsy kind of a state. And oftentimes I even have trouble staying awake. So that helps so much just to make it a lot more intentional and active. So, and especially the part where you said to think about the moments in between the breaths, that helped to really keep my attention focused on those moments too. So yeah, I found that really helpful. And the gratitude I've done now here and there, but I found that really great too, especially now when we're secluded, to really think about those things that we're grateful for. It's easy to get in the trap of looking at all the things that are bad right now. So that was really nice. Yeah, so I've remembered less about the manual labor as far as being intentional about it, so that I need to work on. But the hands thing definitely helped.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And Jungji, Lara.
Yeah, like Sanbong, for the meditation, I found that refresher very valuable about meditating like your life depended on it. I've also found that I'm able to focus a little bit, or have that presence more if I tune into sounds as well. I don't know if that's cheating, but I just counting my breath, and if I'm able to also listen to something, I usually have my space heater on. It just helps me to stay there a little bit more. And I really love the gratitude practice as well. I've been writing a G on my hand, and that helps me throughout the day to kind of note things. Actually, today I wrote PCG to review peace, contentment, and gratitude. So I have that on my hand. It's like, maybe I should get a tattoo. So that's been really great. Oh yeah, and manual labor has been my best friend in quarantine. It's really just to not turn any music on or anything and just really focus on it has been very, very soothing for me. So.
Yay! Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Sushin, how you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, I've noticed too that it's the times where I'm maybe a little frustrated, tired, or out of sorts to just focus on gratitude and compassion too. But my practice has been a little bit more regular than it has been, so that's been good. I kind of You guys might know we're also offering evening practice too at the temple virtually. So participating in that when I can, but also in the morning I do it more on my own. So yeah, but also I read this really good article today that Jayun, who's one of our temple members, sent me about, why you might be feeling really tired right now.
Right. Yeah.
And I just thought, wow, and I had been allowing myself, I'd been to feel that way, but also I wanted to label it as like something bad, like laziness. And I wasn't quite going that far, but it was a temptation. It was really good. And just, it's almost like, just to give oneself the license just to feel it and understand, here's why. And that was really, it was really nice. But it also mentioned about they use the word grace in this period that we're in, and to kind of find that within ourselves. It's already there, but just to get in touch with it a little bit more. Yeah, I thought that was really helpful.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think it's very much this letting go practice, right? It's very much, we're really, I think that's kind of new to us. And I'm realizing a little bit how addicted I was to being busy and being in charge and getting stuff done and doing a good job, and to have to wake up in the morning and not be in charge of things, right? And not be able to, I have my little domain with my computer, but that's part of it too. And it's really, I think, bringing us back to humility and submission and letting go, right? And being in another mode other than mastery, other than, accomplishing and doing, and just being appreciative. So I like what I'm hearing about gratitude, because I think it resonates actually. It's a way to be active, but not, I guess, in charge, right? Because you're actively appreciating the things around you. And I mentioned this on Sunday. So again, on Sunday mornings, you can join us at 10:30 in the morning for a meditation sitting. And then we are having really fun discussions of the Heart Sutra, and really lovely. And it's a great way to check in. And that's open to everybody. So that's, is it the same as this link? I can't keep all the links straight. I think anyway.
I'm not sure.
We can make sure that's in the email that I send out to you guys this week. It's just a refresher on all the links. But on Sunday morning, I don't know if anybody else listens to the On Being radio show, which I'm usually lying in bed, thinking about getting up at 7 in the morning on Fridays, and they had this wonderful Austrian Benedictine monk that she was interviewing. And he said something really lovely about gratitude that I wanted to share with you. And he said that, and he had this great, Austrian accent, and he's quite old. He was a teenager actually during the Nazi years. So I think this was an interview from a while ago that they were bringing back. And he said something really lovely. He said, a fountain only comes to life when the bowl that the water is in overflows. That's when you get the fountain, right? And it comes to life. And he said, gratitude is like that, right? It comes to life when our bowl overflows. And he said, so much of our energy, and he even said, like, advertising in our culture is about making the bowl bigger, getting a bigger bowl and a bigger bowl and a bigger bowl. And he was like, but then it never overflows. It never comes to life. And I was just like, that's just the loveliest thing that I've heard in a while. And I wanted to share it with you all because I thought it was a great way to frame gratitude. And I remember telling my husband this because I was very excited about it. And he said, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. And I said, okay, so and I said, before this social distancing, I went out to eat a lot, right? Like just because of time and where I found myself when I got hungry and got kind of blasé about it. And since we've been social distancing, I've been cooking a lot at home, and we eat most of our meals at home, and maybe once a week we'll get something to take out from a restaurant. And so about a week ago, I got a burger from the place down the street with fries, and I brought it home, and it was just a miracle. It was just the most exciting. I mean, it was so like salty and fatty and, you know, like all of that. And I apologize, I'm not yet a vegetarian, although we're moving in that direction finally with my husband. But it was like a miracle. It was the best thing I had ever eaten. And I could really taste the salt, and I could taste, and it seemed like actually I was like, how did I eat an entire hamburger before? Because half of it was really filling. But it was kind of a miracle. And I said to my husband, it's like, that's it, you know, it just was this amazing thing, because our bowls have gotten so small, right? We're living in this restricted, you know, our bowls are so much smaller, so that when we see a woodpecker, right, we actually look up and there's a woodpecker. We look at the flowers, or, you know, frankly, the arrival of spring and the arrival of these leaves on these trees is really kind of astonishing and lovely. And you know, you start understanding how these monks who have given everything up, or if you're on a retreat and you've restricted your attention, you've made your bowl very small, you're grateful for everything, right? And it happens after 5-day retreats that I go outside and see a squirrel and go, oh, it's wow, what is that? That's just really amazing. So yeah, so I think that's a nice, I love that image, right? That the fountain doesn't do anything until the water overflows the bowl. So I just thought I would share that with you. And the other thing is, you know, so for this week, yeah, so keep at it, the meditation, maybe make it a little bit longer. One of the other misunderstandings that we have about meditation is that we think it's supposed to be 10 minutes of bliss or 10 minutes of concentration. And our teacher likes to say, I think he says, like, if you get 30 seconds of really good meditation in a 25-minute sitting, that's a successful sit, right? And so one of the images that I like to use for meditation is really the first 5 or 10 minutes is kind of rowing your boat out into the middle of the lake or the ocean, right? And you're rowing and you're rowing and you're rowing. And then you get there and you look around and you don't see the shore anymore. And you look down and the water's really deep. And you have a few moments of panic where you're like, how did I get here? And where am I? And I'm not really sure. And then you have maybe a minute of, wow, it's peaceful out here. And wow, this is amazing. And look at that bird. And you can hear the water and you can really sort of be really present. And then it's like, oh, and it's time to row back to the shore again, right? And get back to but sometimes our sittings are often a lot like that, right? So we need a little bit of padding on either end to kind of get that moment in the middle, a little bit like the space between the breaths, where we can sort of just say like, wow, here I am. And then before our stuff starts working again. So maybe make it 15 minutes this week and see how that goes. And experiment with postures. And by special request, as Tim requests, definitely you can do the Ma'um chant. It's now on our website on the chanting page. There's a Ma'um recording, so you can refer to that if you need a refresher on the melody. That's quite simple. And maybe let's give ourselves the goal of at least once a day to do some Ma'um chanting, whether it's while you're doing a jigsaw puzzle or while you're, I was going to say while you're brushing your teeth, but it's very hard to chant brush your teeth at the same time. But maybe while you're cooking or making your bed, and use, or if you're just sitting, like actually just have some dedicated chanting practice and just sit still and do that instead of meditating, or for the last 5 minutes of your meditation, and see how that goes. Just play around with it and see, again, direct experience, just sort of see how it feels. So, and keep up with the gratitude. Did everybody get to 6 gratitude things, 6 things to be grateful for? Because like I said, the first 2 or 3 are easy, and then you really got to kind of scrounge around sometimes. So I like the 6 because it makes you stretch a little bit and makes the day into a gratitude treasure hunt. So yeah, so we'll do that for this week. I'll email in a couple of days. But like I said, it's really good to see everybody here. I feel I can't believe that meditation over Zoom kind of works, because at the end of these classes, I'm like, oh, I feel so much better than I did a few hours ago. So I'm hoping you're getting a little bit of that as well. And so next week, and I'll put this in the email as well. So next week we'll start right at 7, and we won't do the stretching and the body scan. We'll just go right into a longer meditation together. And then we'll also look at prostrations and walking meditation. Haju Sunam gave me some pointers on how to teach walking meditation through a screen. So we'll give that a try. Yeah, and we'll wrap everything up. So just wishing all of you good health and peacefulness and happiness and peace, contentment, and gratitude, actually, like wishing you all a good foundation for the rest of the week. So thank you all so much. And again, let us know, feel free to get in touch if you have any questions or if anything comes up. It's great to see you.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great week.